no matter how much one might grow and glow, one should never forget his or her roots. Talking about the Sri Lankan roots, the roots of our culture, our history, the Ayurvedic medical system is indeed one key highlight. Sri Lankan resplendent and rich history talks about kings who were surgeons, who were able to treat vicious serpents, rid the cyst of them and cure them of their pain. In modern medical terms, that would be called a medical miracle. However, what has happened to this Ayurvedic medical sector of the country? What is the future for this? And in the present, what are the challenges that this is facing? And most importantly, what about Ayurvedic entrepreneurship? What is the way forward? Yes, our history speaks about publications such as Sarartha Sangrahaya by King Buddhadasa. But what about the future of this sector? If you are someone who is studying the Ayurvedic medicine sector, what is the future potential for you? Today in BIZNOMICS, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes, that's exactly what we will be talking about. And we have a very special individual joining us, someone who is an Ayurvedic doctor and also an Ayurvedic entrepreneur. She is none other than Dr. Sachini Aththanayaka. Dr. Aththanayaka, welcome to BIZNOMICS. Absolute pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Doctor, let's talk about Ayurvedic and Western medicine. What are the main differences? Let's start with that.
Okay. Actually, we have so many medical systems in Sri Lanka. Not only the Ayurveda, Western, and also there are homeopathic, Unani, Siddha, and also Chinese medicine available in Sri Lanka. But formally, we consider about the Ayurveda and Western. Considering Ayurveda, it is originated 3000 years ago.
3000 years ago.
Yeah. And it is mainly based on herbs. But Western medicine originated in very recent past, and it is mainly materialistic. And in Western medicine, it has like symptomatic treatment. But in Ayurveda, we do a same treatment for root cause.
Root cause.
Not considering the symptoms. And also
so you would say it goes sometimes to a more deeper level of treatment.
Yes, because Ayurvedic is a personalized treatment. We consider about the doshas, dhatus, and also Agni. Agni means digestive system. Because in Ayurveda, it is mentioned that if we haven't proper digestion system, then that's the cause for all the diseases. So we mainly consider about the digestion. And also, I already told that we are a personalized medical system. That means we have constitutional differences for every person. So we call it Prakriti. So just imagine that Western doctors prescribe paracetamol for fever, for you and for me and for everyone. But in Ayurveda, we can't prescribe Sudarshana, we mainly use for fever. We can't prescribe Sudarshana for everyone. For you, for me, we can't prescribe because it will not work. Because our body different.
Correct.
Yeah.
It will react and respond differently.
Differently.
Very interesting concept.
Yeah. So this is personalized medical system and not like Ayurveda, not like Western medicine. And also this is time tested. I told you that it is originated 3000 years ago. Sometimes people ask what are the evidences, what are the research findings for these medicines, how can you prescribe this one for these ailments. So likewise they are asking some questions, but just imagine that if these medicines does not work, how can it exist for 3000 years? So this is already time tested and evidence based medicine.
That's a very interesting point, doctor, but I also believe that there's a lot of Western doctors today who sometimes do carry out certain Ayurvedic practices as well, because they feel there is opportunity for both practices to sometimes coexist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doctor, now let's talk about the heritage, because I think more than any other matter, the fact that this is such an important part of the Sri Lankan culture, history, our heritage. This is something our ancestors has brought over the years. Tell us about the history of Ayurvedic medicine, doctor. How did it all begin, to your knowledge and based on whatever evidence we see today?
Okay. When we are talking about Ayurveda, it originated in India, not in Sri Lanka. But before that, before Ayurveda, we had a very well established medical system in our country. It is, we call Deshiya Chikitsa. There was
Deshiya Chikitsa.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a conference of sages, the
Oh, wow.
seekers of knowledge.
Yes, yes.
There was a conference at Himalaya because they wanted to stop these people getting ill. That's why they had that conference. So, for that conference, the only physician attended was Sage Pulasti. He was from Sri Lanka. All the others were only sages.
And this
the
is the
only
person we
physician-
refer, this is the individual we refer to as this Pulasti Rishivarya.
Yes, Pulasti Rishi. And you know, he is the grandfather of King Ravana. So, that gives evidence that we had the established medical system before the Ayurveda in Sri Lanka.
Doctor, just to add to what you're saying, I find it very fascinating. Thousands of years ago, no email, no faxes, no WhatsApp e-flyers being sent, but still that, you know, the sages of the world were able to come together and have a conference. I find it very fascinating.
Yeah, because I have heard that the Sri Lanka and India was together.
Okay, interesting.
They were not separated countries.
Still quite a big distance,
Yeah.
Himalayas to
And
Sri
also,
Lanka.
you may know that the Ptolemy's map,
Yes.
why he drew that Sri Lanka like very big country in the world. He have never seen that
Yes.
because of the agriculture, architecture, irrigation, and all the things very well established and very well developed in our country.
Correct.
That's why.
Please do enlighten us on this history. So, as you said, the sages conference and the sage Pulasti.
Yeah. But our written history begins from the arrival of King Vijaya.
I believe this is Mahavansya.
Yeah, Mahavansha. So people think that the Ayurveda came with the introduction of Buddhism to our country in the period of King Devanampiyathisa. But it's not so.
Even before that.
Yeah, even before that, 3000 years ago, Ayurveda came to Sri Lanka with Sage Pulasti. But after that, all the theories and all the medicines, everything fused together with the Deshiya Chikitsa and Ayurveda.
A fusion of things.
Yeah. Then it was handed down from generation to generation.
What a beautiful gift, doctor.
Yes. Even nowadays we can find some traditions who practice their traditional systems. Like, you know, Neelam Mahara, they practice psychological treatments.
Correct.
And some Sarpa Vishavedakam, Kadumbidum Vedakam, Asvedakam, there are so many traditions. But Ayurveda fell into neglect during the period of the countries, rule of foreign countries by.
Correct. So, you mean say Ayurveda was neglected
Yes,
during that
neglected,
time?
yeah.
And correct me if I am wrong, but didn't the British rulers, especially the British, didn't they have a rule where they stopped and they didn't allow Ayurveda to be practiced in Sri Lanka? Wasn't there a rule like that? Ayurveda and Angampura, two things that were banned, am I correct?
Yes. Not only banned, they killed all the traditions. That's how they stopped this medical system. But fortunately, there were few people who
kept practicing.
Yeah, kept practicing.
Very interesting. So, this is a gift that has been handed down to us over the generations. It's
and
fascinating.
also, there's another thing. We know that King Ravana,
yes.
He was a very skillful physician. He has written some books as well. Arka Prakashya, Nadi Prakashya, there are so many books. And also in Ayurveda, there is a method method to convert iron into gold.
Iron into gold?
Yes.
Wow.
So there are 18 procedures to follow that, but it's none of these are easy. So it's so difficult to do these 18 procedures.
Correct.
But if someone can do these procedures, he is called Rasa Siddha Pudgala, and he can go in the sky, he can disguise, he can convert his outer appearance very quickly.
Correct.
And also he can go invisible.
And I mean, these are not just fiction, there are people who have actually done that.
Yes. So in Ayurveda also mentioned that King Ravana was one of that person.
And I find this very interesting because I am a big fan of history, and I personally believe that the more we study history, the more we study our yesterday, it will give us some clues to winning some of the challenges of tomorrow. And Doctor, some of the records I've read, it shows that King Ravana even had the ability to change the times of the dusk and dawn.
Yes.
And in fact, finally, when the battle was actually won by the other side, they blocked him and prevented him from doing one of the usual daily rituals. And that was the only way that they could somewhat even defeat him. I mean, this sounds to be something very interesting.
Yes.
Doctor, now when you look at the structure of Ayurvedic medicine in Sri Lanka, because a lot of people would want to know, okay, when it comes to Western medicine, there are the examinations, then there are the various tests that people have to pass to be a doctor and so on. What is the structure of the Ayurvedic medicine in Sri Lanka? To begin with, how does new knowledge get created? Do they keep doing research and development into Ayurveda? And also, what are the governing bodies for Ayurveda in Sri Lanka? And how are the exams held for students of Ayurveda?
Talking about the knowledge, we basically have 3 books in Ayurveda: Charaka Samhita, Susruta Samhita, and Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita. So all these books are written in Sanskrit.
Sanskrit?
Yes.
Wow.
And not only these 3 books, there are so many books we have to follow. Kaumara Brutya Sangrahaya or Ayurveda Aushadha Sangrahaya, there are so many books. All are written in English, but some of them are now converted to English as well.
So all of them are written in Sanskrit,
yes.
But some of them are translated to English. Understood.
Now. So we have to learn all these books, and there are mainly 8 specialties in Ayurveda. Means Kaya Chikitsa means clinical medicine, Shalya means surgery, Shalaki ENT, likewise toxicology, pediatrics. There are different names for these medical
So
terms.
there's even like a separate pediatric section for in Ayurveda?
Yes.
Fantastic.
So there are 8 specialties we have to learn. For that we have to follow all the subjects in Ayurveda and also all the Western subjects in the university. In the first 2 years we have to learn Sanskrit as well, because
so are you able to read Sanskrit?
Yes.
Fantastic. Wow.
Because without Sanskrit we can't read books. We can actually get the idea with English, but to get the
real
exact
essence.
To get the exact idea we have to learn Sanskrit. So it's not easy to be Ayurvedic doctor. Yes. And also there are traditional subjects. I told that we have some traditions coming from the
passed
past.
down by the generations. Yes.
So we have to learn that subjects as well. So the Deshiya Chikitsa, under the subject of Deshiya Chikitsa, all that as with the Kama, Sarpa the Kama, so everything.
Understood.
And also not only that subjects, we have to learn pharmacology as well.
Okay.
How to prepare drugs, how to identify raw materials, all the things we have to learn. And also we have to learn the cultivation.
How to grow the plant.
Yeah, how to grow the plants.
Doctor, very interesting indeed. We are going to come back to you on more details on that after this break. We will be back after this short break, and this is BIZNOMICS. Welcome back to BIZNOMICS, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. I'm Tharandu Amarasekara. Our focus today is on the very vital topic of Ayurvedic medicine, the way forward for this very interesting sector in Sri Lanka. And if you're an entrepreneur, what are the opportunities available? And we are in conversation with Dr. Sachini Aththanayaka. So, Doctor, we were talking about the structure of the Ayurvedic medicine, and honestly, I did not know, I didn't even dream in my wildest of dreams that there is so much of structure and organizing going into this traditional heritage of ours. Now, what about the governance of this Ayurvedic medicine sector? Who are the governing bodies?
Actually, the Ministry of Indigenous Medicine, Rural and Ayurveda Hospital Development and Community Health, that's our ministry. It's also under the Ministry of Health. And also mainly we are governed by the Department of Ayurveda and Ayurvedic Medical Council. Actually, Indigenous Medical Board established in 1928. Then our college started in 1929, and our college means Institute of Indigenous Medicine. It is attached to University of Colombo. And also there's another institution called Gampaha Vikramarachya Ayurveda Institute.
I've heard about that,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It was attached to University of Kalani, but now it's a separate university.
Understood.
So that's how
It's governed.
Yeah, governed. And talking about the examinations, so we have to face all the Ayurvedic subjects and also the Western subjects. So we have written examinations and also clinical examinations with patients at the hospital, and also to identify some medicine raw materials. So we have spot tests. Likewise, it's not easy.
Yes.
So they give only 2 minutes and keep the drug on the table and with some questions. So we have to answer within 2 minutes. I didn't find that medicine. So it's not easy actually.
Absolutely. Doctor, what about the potential for Ayurveda tourism? Because I believe that this is one sector, the globally Ayurvedic sector has been growing at more than 15% per year. A lot of people are taking up Ayurveda, and very interestingly, I believe that though a lot of people think Ayurveda is something only practiced in Asia or only in India, Sri Lanka and so on, even in countries like America, there are about more than 200,000 adults who depend on Ayurveda medicine and not the Western medicine. So this is clearly a globally accepted concept. How much of potential, what are the opportunities that are there for Ayurvedic tourism for Sri Lanka, and have we done enough to attract these wellness tourists? Because there are a lot of tourists who travel even to India looking for Ayurvedic treatments. Are we doing enough as a country to attract these wellness tourists to Sri Lanka?
Actually not. We have not done enough. The government has recognized wellness tourism as a key sector for investors, but we have a lot to do. I worked in a health resort. It was my very first job. I worked there as a chief doctor, and there are so many foreigners coming to Sri Lanka every year in their vacation to get treatments, not for the wellness like spa treatments, not for the spa treatments. They are coming to get treatments for their diseases.
Understood.
They have a lot of psychological issues like depression and insomnia, and also comes with the joint pains and skin disorders. So we have a good treatment modalities to cure these ailments very quickly.
In Ayurveda?
Yeah, in Ayurveda. Wow.
And you mean sometime maybe faster than the Western system?
Yes. I met 2-3 guys who couldn't sleep for 8 years.
Wow.
A German one. But I managed to make them sleep within 2 days. So that's how quickly our medicine works. So we can tell the world how our medicine works.
So, doctor, in terms of this Ayurvedic tourism, let's term it in that way, when tourists come in, what are the opportunities? For example, as you said, maybe wellness in terms of some of these Ayurvedic spa treatment. That's also a big industry. We see some of the Sri Lankan Ayurvedic companies going to foreign countries and setting up operations there. That shows the demand. Then there is also coming to get treatment for various diseases. What are the other opportunities? For example, can we look at foreign students coming to Sri Lanka and learning Ayurveda?
Yes, there are so many. They have eager to learn Ayurveda. Most of the time in the health resorts and health hotels, they are
have that.
conducting. The doctors teach them.
Interesting.
Every week there's 1 or 2 sessions to teach about Ayurveda, the doshic condition, and also the main objectives of Ayurveda are the first one is to cure disease and second one is to prevent disease. The foreigners are very interested in the second one. So, we can market that. And also there's another thing, it's not about Ayurveda, but it's about our heritage. We have consider Indwan Velisaya. That is the lowest gravitational force, the place with the lowest gravitational force.
In the whole world.
Whole world.
Yeah. And it's also believed to be the most powerful place in the world as well.
Yes. And also talking about the Horton Plains, I have heard that there was a nuclear war in the period of King Ravana. That's why the trees are not growing much higher in that place. So, why we can't explain those things to the world?
Correct.
If we can take all these things into the world, we can attract more foreigners.
The problem is, doctors, from what I see, we are not telling the story well enough, isn't it? We are not telling our country's story to the world, and our country's story will definitely include Ayurveda as well.
Yes, and also there are some interesting things in Ayurveda, because it's not only a medical system, it's a philosophy. So, it gives us the whole things to
consider.
Our life.
Absolutely.
So
it's a very holistic, like a very holistic approach towards life and living a good life.
Yes.
Doctor, in the face of COVID-19, has there been any effective treatments developed with Ayurveda, and did we as a country give enough prominence to possible Ayurveda solutions for COVID-19?
Yes, actually we had good treatments for COVID-19. COVID-19 is not mentioned in Ayurvedic text, but similar to the symptoms coming with the COVID-19, the Ayurveda has mentioned very vast area about the diseases very similar to COVID-19.
Okay.
So, we already had the treatment modalities for that symptoms. Actually, we Ayurvedic doctors gave their services to the people very well, but government actually didn't give us the opportunity to serve people.
Wasn't there some medicine developed by some of the doctors as well for COVID-19? It's just that the government didn't really promote it.
Yes, there were some.
Yes. We are not talking about any magical potions here,
yes.
Doctor. I am referring to proper solutions developed by proper Ayurvedic doctors.
Yeah, as we know, the COVID-19 affect our respiratory system. So, we have very good medicine to protect our respiratory system. And also, according to Ayurveda, the mainly affected doshas are kapha, means phlegm.
Phlegm, yes.
During this COVID-19.
Correct.
So, we have very good medicine to take it out the phlegm, and also all the diseases are coming to our body. How they make our body disease? Imbalance in the doshas.
Absolutely.
Even if we don't know about the disease and treatment, the Ayurvedic doctors have the ability to balance those doshas.
So when the doshas get balanced, the disease goes out.
Disease goes out.
Interesting.
So we actually have the ability to treat all the diseases and also the COVID-19. Actually, we have our doctors, the community medical officers. They delivered the medicine to the doorstep. They went to the people and treated. I don't think that people took Western medicine during that lockdown period. Even I worked in 1390 COVID-19 hotline, and in the first lockdown, there were no access to pharmacies.
Yes.
So people call and ask, we have this kind of disease, we have this kind of disease, what can we do, doctor?
Correct.
So the allopathic doctors had no
solution
for that. But I managed to treat them with the medicines and raw materials in our kitchen. So we have that ability. If we have no access to pharmacy,
sure,
even that time we can treat people.
Understood. Very interesting thoughts, and indeed glad to see the potential that this sector has for the country. We are going to come back to you on more details on that, doctor. Stay tuned. We will be back after this short break. This is BIZNOMICS. Welcome back to BIZNOMICS, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. Our focus today is on the Ayurvedic medicine sector of the country, the past, the present, and the way forward. And we are in conversation with the multi-talented Dr. Sachini Aththanayaka. Dr. Sachini, let's talk about government policy, because this is a part of the Sri Lankan heritage. So, is there a proper government policy and a government plan for promoting and building the Ayurvedic sector, not only for tourism, but overall supporting the universities, supporting the Ayurvedic doctors, and maybe protect this Ayurvedic sector, and not just protect, but maybe grow it and make it a global concept? Is there a government policy to do this? If not, what would you like to see from the side of the government?
Actually, government has budgeted 2,179 million for the year of 2022 for the State Ministry of Indigenous Medicine. And also the government has taken steps to take local entrepreneurs who is related to Ayurveda industry to the international arena. But I don't see that government gives the prominence to Ayurveda doctors. Because there are over 1,000 doctors are jobless.
Over 1,000 Ayurvedic doctors?
Doctors are jobless.
Okay. Are they operating by
themselves? I am not into government sector.
Okay.
I became an entrepreneur because I don't have government job.
Understood.
So likewise, there are so many doctors waiting for the government jobs.
So that means government also appoints Ayurvedic doctors to certain areas of the country.
Yes. Understood. And there are so many vacancies as well.
Okay.
But the thing is, government should have a proper method to sort out this issue. And also, there are some issues with the salary also.
Is there a big difference between the Ayurvedic and the...
Yeah, some difference, and some allowances are not given to the Ayurvedic doctors. But the risk is same. Even in the COVID-19 period, some of our Ayurvedic hospitals convert into the COVID-19 centers, but without proper facilities. Even I donated so many instruments to Laggal Ayurveda hospital because the government has sent only the pack of gloves and pack of mask. So how can no PPE kits?
The kit you wear?
No.
Okay.
So how can Ayurvedic doctors survive? But they did their job well. So the government should protect Ayurvedic doctors and utilize them.
For sure. Indeed. And as you very correctly said, the budget allocations can be there, but there has to be a proper program, isn't it?
Yes.
And right now there is no such program to grow the Ayurvedic sector.
No, no. So
Understood.
everything is still discussing.
Doctor, now you are, in my view, very unique because you are not only an Ayurvedic doctor, you are also an Ayurvedic entrepreneur. So, how did that come to being? Tell us about your entrepreneurship experience, because here in BIZNOMICS we want the future entrepreneurs to hear these very insightful entrepreneurship stories and get more inspired. So, share with us your entrepreneurship journey. How did that happen?
My first job was as an Ayurvedic doctor at a health resort, but unfortunately I got dengue and so I lost my job. Then I joined a very known company in Sri Lanka who is running a telemedicine service.
Understood.
So I joined there. But after some period they kicked me out because only because I was an Ayurvedic doctor.
And did they say that you are an Ayurvedic doctor, so we don't
Yes,
want you?
yes. No
Sounds
any
extremely harsh.
no any other issues happen in that case. I did my job very well. Even now the HR manager still talking to me and tell that we couldn't find a good doctor like you, Dr. Sachini.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt in that.
So after that, being an Ayurvedic doctor is not a thing to be shy or
Not at
disgrade. No. So
And this is the very problem in this country as well, isn't it? For many different sectors, we find that the Sri Lankan alternative, we consider it to be inferior or lower. I mean, even when we go to buy a clothing item, sometimes people tend to prefer the imported one versus the locally made one, because I think that mindset we need to get out
Yes.
of.
So
then,
that was the point. I thought that I should change this. So in that period, actually I took 2-3 days to think, and finally came out with Sayura.lk. I started that with one of my friends, but some issues came with that friend also because of the personal issues. So he left me, but finally I managed to run this alone myself.
fantastic. And now, so you mainly provide various
Yes,
Ayurvedic
services. We train the health staff, therapies, and also doctors in the health resorts, hotels, and other institutions. And also we mainly focus on health education, and also now we are focusing to wellness products as well.
Excellent. So, you're manufacturing products,
Yes.
adding the value addition.
value
Fantastic, and we wish you good luck with that. Doctor, what is your advice to young students, any young student who is watching this show, who is an Ayurvedic student, planning to be an Ayurvedic doctor? What is your advice to them on being a doctor in Ayurveda and also going and being an entrepreneur? What is your advice to them?
Yeah, the first thing is study well. Without the proper study, we can't go so far. So, and the second thing is make the use of what you have studied. That's what I did. And I don't like someone copying someone else. So, I need actually I need, and I always advise, make your own passion. Do not go for copying. And find your strength. And I follow always that SWOT analysis,
Strengths, weakness,
Yeah.
opportunities, and threats.
Yes.
It's interesting how you're not only an Ayurvedic doctor, but you're also very business minded as well in the thinking. That is excellent.
And we, when considering about the opportunities, don't miss opportunities. Sometimes people used to think about the financial value of anything, everything. So we consider about the financial value, but I'm not so. I always use the opportunities, and if there's no opportunity, I create opportunities.
Excellent.
That's my passion. And also market yourself. No one will come and market us. So we have to market ourselves.
So, Doctor, I
And
see that you are also into a lot of YouTube content creation. In fact, your YouTube videos, there's like thousands of views, 50,000, 60,000, I mean, tens of thousands of people are watching your videos. So, do you think that other Ayurvedic doctors should also come out and talk more about this sector and get the content out there so that when more people are aware of it, Ayurvedic medicine sector will get accepted more in Sri Lanka? Do you agree with that?
yes, I'm totally agree with that. I started that YouTube channel to educate people, not with the earning purpose. So I think I am success.
For sure, absolutely, absolutely, and definitely something that others should be doing as well. On a final note, Doctor, if you were to use this forum, this platform, and make a request to the authorities who are in charge of running this country, what would your request be for them or to them with regard to the Ayurvedic sector? What would you like to see the government authorities doing to uplift the Ayurvedic sector? Forum is yours. I hope they are watching. And what would your request be?
Yeah. Actually, my first request is to government should take actions to expand the services in the Ayurvedic hospitals, because if we can expand that services and if we can utilize the doctors, we can reduce the what we call the monies goes out from the country.
Correct,
so we
correct.
can
The
reduce
current
that.
the current account deficit that we are facing
Now
as well.
we are facing the dollar issues now.
Yeah, correct.
And the other thing is there are things in Ayurveda no one has noticed. You know, there are methods of fabric coloring
Yes,
with natural things.
correct, correct.
With my friend, one of my friends, we two are now conducting research on that.
Fantastic.
And also water purification methods, and also food preservative methods. So why
Using
don't
the fundamentals of Ayurveda.
Yes, without any chemicals and without spending more money.
Correct.
So we can do this.
Correct.
So why don't we use these things?
Yeah. Why are we turning a blind eye?
Yes, if the government invests for a healthier society, the government can get the benefit in a different way.
Healthier people, healthier nation, and a
Yes.
better economy indeed.
Yes.
So, Dr. Sachini Aththanayaka, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for doing your part towards keeping the tradition and the local heritage of Ayurveda going, and we wish you good luck. We only hope that more Ayurvedic doctors and more Ayurvedic professionals will have the same passion as you, the innovativeness as you, and come forward and take this very important part of the Sri Lankan heritage forward and transform it into the next level. Thank you for joining us, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
The Ayurvedic sector of Sri Lanka, a part of the rich, resplendent heritage and culture of our nation. Well, we sincerely hope the authorities will take the right action to uplift this, to protect this, and take it to the next level and offer it to the world. Because after all, let this not be one of those aspects of Sri Lanka that we ignored too much for too long, and we missed out on the opportunity to make Sri Lanka a unique proposition for the world. I'm Tharindra Amarasekara, and no matter what business you may be in, have a profitable week ahead. I'll see you with the next episode. This is BIZNOMICS.